Everyone get in the zone.
Focus. AutoZone.
Inhale podcast. Exhale podcast. Inhale podcast. Come on, we all gotta do it together. We all need to exhale.
Hello, and welcome to the Blackwolves Packcast. I'm your host, Logan Jeremy.
I'm your host, Jacob Wade.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Jeremy Van Suarez.
I'm the ghost that haunts the background.
Oh my gosh!
I've been here the whole time. It's just like the haunting of Hill House.
Oh my gosh!
Hello!
Hey, Soren!
Hello!
What are you doing
I
here?
broke into your house!
Why would you do that?
It's not like we let you in the front door with
No.
us.
I scaled the building and climbed through Logan's bedroom window.
Soren's here!
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast.
I'm glad to be here. It's a fun time.
Now, the last time you were on the podcast, I wasn't here. And I don't know what you talked about because I still haven't watched those episodes.
I think we just talked a lot about, like, Zack Snyder, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah, that was that
And
episode.
fashion.
Yeah.
Hello.
We'd be like,
Was that
yeah.
before Snyder Cast, or was that when it had like just come out?
I think it had just come out, but
Yeah.
because he was also, we talked a lot about, there was like rumors that he was going to direct some like Norse mythology based
Right, yeah.
but I haven't heard anything about that since, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think he's a good filmmaker. I just think he's thematically a little problematic, you know.
Okay,
I
alright.
can see that, yeah.
From time to time.
We
Yeah.
talked a lot about, actually, we talked about Ayn Rand a lot too. I remember.
Yes, because
that. It's like that
Zack
Maggie
Snyder
May
was-
Fish video with Curio also did a video, but I think Curio goes by. I think it's Sophie from Mars is their channel name now.
Nice.
And welcome to the Packcast, episode 52, the show where we talk about movies, games, television, music, and all those fun
Art.
entertainment art stuff.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of dust in my nose. Oh my god.
Housekeeping. I'll come back later.
Right, sorry?
Yeah.
Previously on Blackwolves Productions, we've been dropping compilation videos of some of our favorite questions and answers from a variety of Year 2 interviews. Go check them out on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Also, do you follow us on TikTok? Because Blackwolves is on TikTok now at Blackwolves Productions, just like the YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to this current new Packcast channel, baby, slam it. Give us a like. Give us a comment. We still want to talk to you.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're lonely.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
I mean, the reason that we were with Soren to begin with, we shot more interviews today.
More
Yeah.
interviews
Yeah.
coming your way
They're coming.
soon.
That's right.
We've begun the process of the second half of Year 2.
That's right, yeah. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I was able to sit in on Drew's interview, at least part of it. It was very fun. It's very cool.
Yeah.
I like doing them in person. It's a lot more fun than doing
Oh,
it the
yeah.
way we did it last year, which was also great. I think it's a very fun project, but it's nice to do it in the room.
To actually look at people and like be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
tell stories to your
Yeah.
friends.
And it doesn't feel like an appointment as much.
Mhm.
I mean, it is still like a meeting, but like, you're not like, okay, I'm going to sit here for like 45 minutes and that'll be it. Like, it's more,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go hang
you
out
know,
with my friends
it's
for a little
friendly.
bit.
more
Yeah.
conversation.
the energy
Yeah.
is just so different.
And I just
Yeah.
love seeing the growth in
Yeah.
everyone, too.
It's
So
cool.
wonderful.
I've been like putting so much mental energy into not rewatching that video, so I could be like full authentic
Yeah,
reactions.
fresh reactions.
Yeah.
Be like, well, I said those things.
Yeah. It's a cool time. I don't want to get too much into it and spoil it.
That's right. This isn't a spoil cast.
Very good.
Shall we begin?
I
Let's begin
say
at the
we
beginning.
shall, yeah.
Okay, well, this past week, Logan, Jacob, and I got to see Uncharted in the theaters. That's right, Uncharted. Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, go
What's her
on.
name? Tati Gabriel? The one who plays the antagonist's right-hand woman?
That's a
I would
good
have
question.
To check IMDb real quick.
Let's do a fact check.
Fact check! Give those facts over right now. Facts!
It's
Yeah.
facts time.
It's facts time.
Because we need that.
Yeah. Because we need that.
Yes, you were right. You were right.
Tati Gabriel, and who plays Chloe?
Sophia Ali.
Sophia Ali.
Thoughts?
Well,
Jeremy?
should I start?
Do we want to talk about the movie, or do we want to talk about? Do we want to tell store in the story?
Store in the story?
You wanna
Okay,
store
yeah.
in the
Before we
story?
talk about the movie, let's talk about our experience leading up to the movie, please.
We arrived at the theater.
Yes.
It was a lovely check-in experience.
Ooh, yes, it was.
We got upstairs. We saw our Batman posters
Oh, yes.
as we
We
rode
saw
up
him
the
hiding
escalator.
so far above. We were like, whoa, so scary. I love the movie theater. And then,
And what happens? We order our snacks, right? As one does, overpriced, but worth it. And we're,
Is this the whole story?
No,
You're taking
no.
step by
It's going
step through the
somewhere.
process of going to a movie theater.
so we're waiting for Logan and
Sit
Jeremy's
down and the movie
hot dogs.
starts.
no, I got the
First
Impossible
scene
Nuggets.
begins.
No, but actually,
Which were actually really good.
we're waiting for Logan and Jeremy's hot dogs for real.
Impossible
And-
Nuggets.
Jeremy
Sorry,
got the
Impossible Nuggets. That's right. You got the Impossible
And
Nuggets.
they
which
were
did chase
They
like
were
chicken
good.
nuggets.
They were pretty good.
Impossibly good. Anyway,
Anyway, we're
More
getting
like
derailed.
improbable nuggets.
Right, yeah. We were like, that's probably not chicken.
Yeah.
This guy approaches us from behind and starts talking to us as if he knows us. As if
he can't be more than 20 years old.
can't be more than 20 years old. He looks like an old high schooler, right?
Is it Tom Holland?
It's not.
did movie star Tom Holland?
My brain immediately goes through the Rolodex. Who could this person be behind the mask? First, second, right? I'm like, do I
Second
know this
one.
person because they're talking to me so familiarly?
They didn't say hi or anything.
It was
They were
just like, what are we seeing?
Yeah, I was like,
And I was like,
well,
well, we're seeing Uncharted. I don't know about you. And he was like, oh, I just saw it. It was great. And we were like,
you're really gonna
uh-huh,
like it.
You're really gonna like it.
So,
And
and
then
I
he
know your taste.
And he was like, spoiler alert, Spider-Man dies. And we were like, haha. Right? Like, not laughing,
He goes-
not entertained.
He goes, can I see it with you?
We're like, do you have a ticket? He's like, no. And we're like, oh man, I guess you can't then.
You just saw it, my guy.
Right?
Didn't you?
Like,
Like
You want
what?
to see it again?
Do you have no friends? Because I understand why.
He did, apparently.
He had one person with him.
Yeah,
No, and then there
he was
were a
in the
group
bathroom at
afterwards.
first, and then, yeah,
after we left with them.
we
but-
saw that there was like a group of them. And I was like, looking at Jeremy and Logan, and we're just kind of like,
Mhm.
But you definitely don't like. You,
No.
definitely
It didn't
no.
like you left and you're like,
This-
oh, is that?
This was a random kid who was like, I'm gonna, because he was fucking with a lot of people. He was like walking up to random people and like making conversation.
But like,
that
he
dude
did it for too long. He was standing there for an uncomfortable amount of time to the point where my heart started racing.
Yeah, right? I was like, am I gonna get hurt today?
Yeah, like, when are you gonna walk away? Because, yeah, your mask's on, but I can feel your breath on my neck. So,
You're very close to me right now.
right. Eventually he goes, all right, guys, have a good day. And we're like, thanks. Not even you two.
Yeah.
And
Peace out.
we're like,
Later, dude.
that was weird. But, like, it was the kind of behavior that, like, I would have done in, like, middle
yeah.
school.
Yeah, you definitely would have done that in
Yeah.
high school.
Totally.
You would have done that in high school.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Early
Yeah,
high school.
Early high school. I mean, I had balls. But, like, it's something that I outgrew in, like, 2015. And I guess I related to the kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, bruh.
You're now like shoes on the other foot. You're like, oh my gosh.
But
this
also,
is
like,
what it
read
was
the
like.
room. Like, I don't know. It's just it was weird.
Well, thank you to whoever you are for this content. I really
Yeah.
appreciate
This amazing story we
Yeah.
got to tell.
Well, I will say, that kid was right. I did really enjoy Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
It was an action throw ride from
Yeah.
start to finish. Questionable physics, but you know what? I don't care. This
Questionable
movie.
physics. I thought the science was there.
the
I trust the science. It's science.
It's
science.
Are we gonna soundboard ourselves now? Is that the
No,
next-
we can't because
is
you
that
know
the
what?
next phase?
That's a soundbite that I have in my head from another soundboard, so we can't take it onto this podcast.
copyright claims.
Exactly. It belongs to another podcast.
But I've played most of the Uncharted games, not all the way through, but I've played at least a little bit of 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And this is like kind of a different take on Uncharted. It's not a direct adaptation of the video games. It takes a lot of set pieces
Mm.
from various games.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a prequel story, you know? It's like how
origin
Nathan
story.
Drake becomes Nathan Drake, you know? And when that Uncharted theme song kicks in the third act, he puts like the gun holster on and you're like, that's Nathan Drake! That's a classic look! That's literally him on the cover! Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought Tom Holland... What?
No,
Such a
that was good. That was good.
I'm just imagining you standing up in the theater going, that's what he wears on the cover!
That's how I felt in my mind, you know?
Oh my god, I played this game in 2008!
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got the costume
yeah.
right.
I liked the acting. It was fun, and you know the writing is there. It's fine.
It was written.
It was written.
It was written.
It's interesting because there's a lot of like tropes in this movie,
Yeah.
but it's not entirely predictable.
Well, here's
And
the
that's
thing.
what I
It's
liked about it.
cliche without being predictable.
Yeah.
In
And
like,
it's still
the mummy type of way?
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't seen the
yeah, kind of. That it's cliche, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes things are cliche
Mhm.
and boring.
Yeah.
But this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So going into this movie, we had seen a TikTok that said, like, if you're going to see this movie, imagine that in every scene that Marky Mark is in, just imagine that,
You know him personally.
you know, he,
We're mugs.
Good friend of the podcast.
yeah,
Marky
good friend of
Mark.
the pod, Marky Mark.
We'll have him on one of these weeks. He'll talk about the process.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
ask him for his thoughts on the matter.
Cut to like 2 years from now if we ever have him on the podcast, just being
Oh,
like,
did you
so-
just say 2 years?
that's the goal. Shoot for the moon. You'll
Right.
end up landing amongst the stars.
Yeah, right. Anyway.
I need like a
Yeah.
hell yeah.
The C-list.
Give me a
stars.
hell yeah.
Can I get a hell yeah?
But, like, just imagine going into it that Marky Mark is doing the least amount of effort possible
In
for
every scene.
every single scene. But
Not
in
in
every
terms of
department.
acting,
Not
yeah.
even just acting, but, like, also, like, costume.
Wardrobe,
Like-
fight choreography,
Like, you know, yeah, like,
hair, makeup.
everything. It's just like, just make me do the least amount of work. And it's like, yeah, I'm Mark. Like,
There and see,
The-
at first I was like, oh, this is mean. Like at first I was like, that's kind of mean. But there was a segment where like the movie starts to point
to
attention
comment
to
on it, yeah.
It starts to be like, Sully, why aren't you helping? I'm standing here and shining
Someone's
the
got to
light.
fly the helicopter.
Yeah.
Someone's got to keep watch.
Yeah.
I'll go upstairs. You guys go
You got
down.
this, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like in video games you can get away with it because it's like, all right, I'm playing this character. I don't really give a shit what Sully's doing right now.
Right, yeah.
Go make him do something else. But
It's
in
like,
the movie,
I'm
they're
worried
just
about
like,
Nate. Yeah.
they're like, fuck, what else are we gonna do with this dude?
Sully.
All he does is leave the
He
scene.
gives you a
immediately
little
every time.
information and then dips.
Yeah, it's like, well, thanks, dude.
I gotta go get the bell tower run.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a little bit.
I do love that he's taking like the Vin Diesel, Steven Seagal route of like wasn't even on set most days kind of thing.
Right,
I
yeah.
hope.
Bruce Willis now.
That's what I
line.
meant. Bruce
Yes.
Willis, not
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
He got a
I'm
Razzie
sorry,
award named
Vin.
after him.
Yeah, similar
Yeah,
sentiment.
I am Groot, kind of.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, overall, going into the movie thinking that and keeping that in mind, I feel like it enhanced my experience, and it made me prepared for that performance in a way that, like, if I didn't have that in my mind going into it, I might have thought, like, oh, I wish Mark had done more, you know?
Yeah.
But because
He
I
didn't
knew,
even rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a point for me, especially with it, that it went from like, oh, this is mean, like they're saying Mark Wahlberg's not trying, to like, oh no, this now kind of feels like a choice of the character, of like the character's in a place where he's not really trying because he's like so fucking worn down by the world, and like he wants this thing, but he's terrible at getting it.
That's why he has Tom Holland
That's
doing
why
the
he
work
has Tom
for him.
Holland, and then
Yeah.
to have the movie like really point it out and be like, Sully, what are you doing?
Can we talk about how pretty Tom Holland is for a second? Just for a sec, can we just
Yeah.
give him some flowers?
Listen.
Like, listen, man,
When
you
he was
look great.
when he was making those drinks in New York, I'm
Oh
not
my
gonna lie,
gosh.
my heart fluttered a little bit.
Yeah. I know Tom Holland's like a little boyish for the Nathan Drake role, but once
I
again,
thought he did
I
great.
think as a prequel, it works. And I wouldn't mind seeing Tom Holland a couple years down the line reprise his role as well.
I also didn't feel like he looked like I wasn't going, Peter Parker, he's in high school. I was like, oh, he's like, I thought he was an adult. I was like,
Yeah.
that's adult Tom Holland.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, no, he's walking
20
down the street with his leather jacket, like next to
Yeah.
Marky Mark. They look the same.
They did a good job of
They don't.
establishing the fact that he's not a kid.
Yeah.
Of
Tom
being like,
Holland
we
looks
know
like
he
a
looks
40-year-old man at this.
He's bartending. He can't be a child.
Look,
We
he
promise.
can drive. But
And he's hitting on women.
Yeah. Like, he
Those
rents a
muscle
car
ups
in this movie. He must be at least
He was
25.
ripped.
God,
Right.
he was so ripped in this.
And apparently he started filming Spider-Man 3 days after he wrapped Uncharted.
Back to back.
That Nathan Drake body made an appearance in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed it?
I saw it.
Or that Spider-Man body made an appearance
Well,
in Uncharted.
yeah, that Tom Holland body was all over the place.
It was.
I'll tell you that much.
Thank God, honestly.
All over town.
Yeah, and the amount of times that like Tom Holland got wet in the movie, like let's just
Ching! We need a money sound effect. Ching, ching.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
a
how I
little
felt when I
creepy.
saw it.
I didn't read the kids part. That was my bad.
Yeah.
It says kids cheering. I'm so sorry. I take it back.
Yeah.
We'll just go with a little
Party foul.
Yeah,
Party
minus
foul, yeah.
1 point from me on this game. This is a competition. if you
Negative
didn't know.
15 from Gryffindor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, like, I was hooked from the beginning of this movie, and it was a little cliche, but like the story was there, and I
Mhm.
was on the edge of my seat practically.
I kind of was too, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
It's a good adventure.
I think it very much did
Well
that
told.
that like set piece to set piece thing where it was like, okay, we're gonna go from big spot to big spot.
Yeah.
I feel like the one thing I'm gonna struggle with if I watch it, because it's definitely a movie I'd see again, is the first like 15-20 minutes.
Slow start.
They're real slow, and it's very like, okay, guys, we're gonna exposition everything to you as fast as we can.
Without being like once upon a time.
Yeah, there's no one.
Oh.
It's like, listen, brother, I'm gonna tell you all of these things really fast that I've never told you. It's like,
Mm.
okay.
We're gonna
Yeah.
catch you up real quick.
Really fast.
And then it's
go.
also like Sully like trying to get Nathan Drake to like join the plan. It kind of just like happens.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, as an audience member, I'm like, yeah, I
It had
get
to
it.
happen
You have to
somewhat.
convince him, and then he has to like not be convinced, but then he has to change his
Then
mind.
he
Like,
has
I
to
get
decide
it.
to
I've
go,
seen
and-
this before.
Yeah.
Let's get to the unchartedness of it.
Yeah.
And then it hits.
And then it
it's great.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
You
But
get to it pretty
overall,
quick.
really fun. The scene from the trailer where
That plane scene.
the plane scene is epic. It's
You've
so
seen
cool.
it over and over again in the trailer, but boy, does it hit real good in that movie. I remember,
Especially in that Dolby theater.
yeah, because like it's honestly like, how the hell is he gonna get out of this? He's falling from a plane, and while the answer is once again questionable physics, it
works.
It
It's
added up.
science.
It added up to me. Honestly, I was like, yeah, they're alive still.
Like, just pretend he's still Spider-Man. It'll work a little bit better for the sequence.
Yeah.
There were some shots when he would like shoot a gun where I'd feel like a little Spider-Man. Like there was a shot on the boat where he's like he goes like, and I was like,
Oh yeah, with your hand up like that
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
and he'd land or something like from a big jump and be like,
yeah,
and I'd be like, oh yeah,
there you
you're gonna
are.
do that thing.
Yeah.
All right,
Arms
okay.
going back.
You're the same guy.
Final verdict.
Yeah, let's give it a score.
7.5.
8.
7.5.
Good movie.
Good
Good
movie.
movie.
Great
Overall.
movie.
Soren, what would you give it based on our
I'll
review?
give it a Marianas Trench because it's a little Uncharted.
Ooh, all right, like that. Yeah.
You really
I don't even.
It's my boy.
Yes!
Awesome. All right.
Well,
You guys watched a movie
What is
too.
that
We
sound
did.
from?
well, this one's from.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's Amos Diggory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
We did see a movie this week,
Yes.
to answer your question from before.
Yeah.
A beautiful movie
Oh.
that had me sobbing by the end, because apparently this is just every Oscar movie this season's making me cry. We saw Coda,
Coda.
Child of Deaf Adults.
Starring actors.
I'll
such
let you look it
as-
up this time.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
While Jeremy looks up the actors, Coda is an Apple original film. It's on Apple TV right now, so you can literally watch it as soon as you finish watching this podcast. I would highly recommend it. Unless you're in like a sad mood, in which case like maybe watch it, but like it's gonna get you emotional, so just be prepared for that.
With such wonderful actors such as Amelia Jones, Marlee Matlin, Troy Kotsur, who is nominated for many an award.
Including a SAG award.
Yep. Eugenio Derbez.
Who also did the Spanish version of the movie. He dubbed his own character.
Oh, that's
for the Spanish
awesome.
version,
That's
yeah.
great.
Oh, I love that. And Daniel Durant.
Who played the brother, who
Yes.
I think deserves way more award recognition than he's getting. He has this one really beautiful scene in the film where
That scene is
he's
great.
like yelling through sign language,
Yeah.
and it's so
Yeah.
incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And
Coda is about Amelia Jones' character Ruby, who is the only hearing person in her family. The rest of her family are
deaf.
deaf.
She falls in love with music
And she falls in love with music.
and singing.
Yeah, and singing, which her parents don't understand, you know?
Yeah.
But they find ways to, and it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful, like,
Wow.
just coming of age story. Like, this was the type of movie where it ended and me and Logan were just, like, universally, like, yes.
10 out of 10.
Like, there
immediately.
is, for me, there was not, like, a slow beat in the movie. There wasn't, like,
It doesn't take a lull.
it doesn't take a lull. Like, I was hooked from the beginning. I cared about every character,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, even characters who, like, handled situations the wrong way. It's like, I see the intention, but, like,
The execution.
you
yeah.
know, it's like complex situations, and I love it. Communicate, you know, it's cute, you know, it's a family drama, it's a coming of age story, it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, I think it tackles a lot. I think in particular it tackles, which can be relatable to a lot of people, the idea of like children sacrificing for their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And like the ways in which a lot of times, especially our generation's dreams kind of get put on the back burner because you have to help the family. You have to go back home to make sure that everyone's doing okay. And well, especially now coming out of COVID, a lot of kids have been living at home, and now it's like, well, you're a part of the family now. You've been in the system with us, so you gotta make sure that you're at home helping the family out, and you can't go and chase your dreams because you have to stay here. And I think it's a really powerful film. It made me cry a couple times.
I cried internally.
The acting's absolutely beautiful. The singing's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is.
They sound
It's not a
really-
musical,
no.
but it does use songs in great thematic ways.
Yes.
I just love, like, this movie's, like, its script, you know, and
Yeah.
the way
Deaf actors
sign
playing deaf
language,
characters.
deaf actors playing deaf characters, you know, it's like, and, like, ASL is just, like, such a beautiful, like, language, like, the way, like, you know, people can speak with their body, like, the emotion is there,
Yeah.
you know, it's even more intensified in ways, and
Yeah.
it's really beautiful all around. It's really the word I have for this, beautiful, beautiful. You know?
Beautiful, beautiful. 10 out of 10.
I gotta watch
Easy.
it.
Yeah, I definitely give it a 10 out of 10. It's definitely a top tier Oscar movie this year.
Yeah, it and Belfast are really my major hitters. Power of the Dog is amazing too, but like those two were just perfection in my mind.
Amazing. Nice.
It sounds kind of like Sound of Metal.
Yes, there
It's like
is
a
that
reverse
feeling
arc of it
like
almost.
yeah, of him falling in love with music after he loses hearing and her being in love with music not having had it. It's really good.
10 out of 10 masterpiece, baby.
You are out of time.
For
Because
talking
we're moving
about
on.
Coda, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Oh.
Next topic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is we're gonna just briefly touch on this because we talk about F1 a lot.
Yeah.
We are not commenting politically on what is happening because we don't have enough information yet because things are still happening very, very quickly. But in the world of F1, a couple events happened really, really quickly. Team Haas, which is an American-owned team, was forced to relinquish one of their sponsorships because it's a Russian company. Sebastian Vettel, who's a 3-time world champion, came
Aston
out
Martin racer.
and said that he would not be racing in the Russian Grand Prix should it continue. And then the FIA came out and announced that they were canceling the Russian Grand Prix as of now. That as things stand right now, it is impossible to have the Russian Grand Prix in current state.
Yeah.
So it's things are happening in the world, and I'm personally kind of proud of the FIA for taking really quick. Just this is where we're going to be at, and if things change, they change. But for now, this is where we're at.
Yep.
Crazy things happening in the world.
Fucked up place. The world.
The world? Yeah.
I've just now realized, maybe.
2 years into a pandemic, and You know, I gotta say,
I'm starting to have some doubts about this whole
This whole
situation
project.
we've got going on.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have made a couple mistakes. Maybe let's go back to one, see if we can take it again.
We hope that things get better.
Yes.
Yeah.
We hope that calmer heads prevail.
All right.
Let's get into
Let's
movies of the week.
Yeah,
shall
what
we?
movies are coming out this week?
Talk about some good art, some inspiring
Yeah,
art.
let's get inspired.
Do it.
We've had some shorter movies of the week recently. January was a slow month for films, and the beginning of February was actually a little bit slow as well. But moving into March, it's looking like we're starting to speed back up again. So this is going to be a little bit longer. Maybe double speed the video if you're seeing that it's going to be like 15 minutes, but that's up to you. I like to give the heads up. First up, coming to VOD and digital this week from Packcast 46, The Pink Cloud. Showing up on VOD digital. That's another pandemic movie. Showing up Tuesday, March 1st, the day this podcast airs. So, after the podcast, if you don't want to watch Coda because you think it's too sad, I don't think Pink Cloud's going to be much better for you.
No.
Because that's
Coda's going to end much happier than
Coda's
Pink
gonna
Cloud
make you feel a
ever
lot
could
better.
end.
But if you're looking for like a pandemic movie, I don't know why necessarily you would, but Pink Cloud maybe.
There's an option.
Wednesday, March 2nd, coming to Disney Plus is West Side Story.
Like the new movie?
Yes.
I'm gonna watch it.
Me too. Have you seen West Side Story yet, sir?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, we have to show you that.
I haven't.
Do it.
Not a big Ansel Elgort fan of late.
That's fair.
And that will probably prevail.
Yeah.
But you'll love everyone else.
Yeah, no, I get you. But especially if I'm not directly giving money to him, I am more willing to watch it.
Pop on to Disney Plus.
Yeah. I've already given them my
Give
money.
money to the mouse, yeah.
It's a little late.
It's exactly. Might as
rescind
well
get
your
the
subscription.
money. Money's worth. Yeah, I think it's a great version. I would definitely recommend checking that out. I've seen it twice now. Third time will be the charm.
Heck yeah, me too.
First up in terms of new movies this week, as we're moving into the new stuff that's coming out, we have Against the Ice, the story of two explorers who get left behind on an expedition in Greenland, starring Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, who also wrote the film, alongside Joe Derrick and directed by Peter
He
Flint.
wrote the film.
He did. I was really excited to find that out.
Interesting.
It's interesting. Don't you agree?
This psychological thriller looks like it's going to be a great film to check out when it comes to Netflix on Wednesday, March 2nd. So you got West Side Story over on Disney+, you got Against the Ice on Netflix same day. Coming to Netflix as well, but on Thursday the 4th. Thursday the 3rd. Sorry, that's my bad. My notes are wrong. Coming to Netflix on Thursday the 3rd is the documentary Surviving Paradise, A Family Tale, directed by Renee Godfrey and Matt Meach, and narrated by Bridgerton star Regé-Jean Page. This documentary tells the story of the Kalahari Desert and the struggle the animals there go through to survive. If you're a Nat Geo person, if you were into Down to Earth with Zac Efron, maybe you're into like the nature doc. This one might be worth checking out. It looks good.
The nature doc.
Yeah, I've been watching Maisel. I'm sorry. The voice comes out sometimes. The big nationwide release this week. We've talked about it many times.
Let's go.
That's what we've been waiting for.
From
It's gonna be
director
so good.
Matt Reeves, who wrote alongside Peter Craig and Mattson Tomlin, and starring Robert Pattinson as the...
It's a secret.
A controversy. Starring Robert Pattinson as the titular
It's
role.
too late. It's too late for Shane.
You were going to go for the shame
Oh,
button.
yeah.
I moved on.
I gotta be
quickly.
quicker.
It's
I'm counting on
it's
you.
a star-studded cast. I probably don't have to list them, but we'll do it anyway. You got Zoe Kravitz, you got Paul Dano, you got Jeffrey Wright, John Turturro, Peter Skarsgård, Jamie Lawson, Andy Serkis, and Colin Farrell. Not looking at all like Colin Farrell.
No.
Who does Andy Serkis play?
Alfred.
Oh, right, I forgot.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'm really ready for this movie. I'm super excited for it.
Me too.
I'm super hopeful and excited for a more detective-y look at Batman rather than like we had the Nolanverse. We had like vigilante crime fighter Batman.
Yeah.
Now we get like solving the crime, world's greatest detective Batman.
Yeah, well, I mean, this
I hope
Batman
so,
is
too.
supposedly based on like the year 2 comics, so like this is early Batman. So I'm
Cool.
excited to see Robert Pattinson bring to life a early, more violent, vulnerable Batman. Who knows?
I'd love to see a movie where like torture doesn't work. I'd really hope he doesn't, because there's that one scene where he's like punching the glass and be like, "Where is it?" And it's like very reminiscent to me of
Yeah,
exactly.
Like every time
just-
that plays in the
Rachel
trailer,
does.
every time that plays in the trailer, I'm like, what is he saying? He's like,
I think it's what did you do?
Oh.
That's what I'm.
I
I do like though that we're getting a kind of darker, creepier Riddler.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
feel like most people who aren't like comic fans, and even like fans of the video game, know like Jim Carrey Riddler, know like kind of goofy.
Very
like,
campy.
I will ask you,
Yeah.
Batman.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Solve my
Yeah.
mystery, and you will find something clever on the other side.
It's
Yeah.
a near rhyme.
This one is like a Zodiac killer.
Mhm.
Very spooky, very
Batman
scary.
meets Seven is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
This movie dares to ask, what would Riddler be like if he wore a gimp suit?
Yeah. It's a question we've all wanted
Yeah,
to know
truly.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Batman looks great.
It does.
It does.
I like the Batmobile. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
that it's like
that's right.
muscle car
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like.
I'm thinking that Catwoman's gonna be like the reason I like this movie
I hope
personally.
so. I love
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz.
I-
I really hope so.
I'm like not the biggest Robert Pattinson fan.
I liked him a lot more post Twilight. Once he
Well,
started
yeah.
doing like really
Yeah.
indie parts.
I like.
All he had before
liked
Twilight
him
really
in
was
The
Harry Potter,
Lighthouse.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry Potter. I liked him in The Lighthouse.
You know?
Mhm.
And I heard good things about him in
Good Times.
Good Times was
yeah.
good. It
I
wasn't my
didn't
favorite
see-
movie.
Oh wait, I did see.
Good Times.
No,
It's
I
the other
didn't.
movie by Josh Shafty.
No, I didn't. I didn't see it. I didn't.
Uncut, yeah.
Uncut
The
Gems.
director
Gems.
of Jobs.
Where's that
Uh,
button?
Are we gonna add that
But-
to our soundboard?
I thought his performance in Good Times was good. I think the subject matter of it was a little intense for me personally, and a little bit almost like nihilistic. I wouldn't say nihilistic, but it just leaves you with that sort of like empty feeling of like,
That sounds like a Josh
Yeah.
Shafty movie.
yeah, it was a good movie though. I'd say it's worth it for at least the performances of the main two actors.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, I gotta check it out.
I liked Robert Pattinson in Tenet.
Yeah.
He did do a good job in Tenet.
I just like also like the way he tells fictional stories on these interview shows.
He's
like,
such a weirdo in
when
real
he's
life.
being interviewed, he like can't help but lie because like he's like under pressure or something.
the press will eat it up. They're like, really?
But I also think it's
You
like-
bought a house?
It's
Like,
an aspect of like the Twilight years where it was like you have to be more interesting. You're dating Kristen Stewart, like come on, you have to you're
gonna fall
Edward,
off.
come on.
Yeah.
I think he's just chaotic and he likes fucking with the press.
I think there
but,
might
like,
be
I
a
feel
little
like
bit of
he
that.
just can't help
I also think he
himself.
just
Like,
gets nervous. He just seems like the kind of guy who gets in interviews and just gets nervous.
I also just feel like he's based on what I've seen of his interviews, he just generally sounds unprepared for life. Where like he talks about like when he was in Harry Potter and stuff, and he's like, it was the first time I'd ever had to think about like being in a fight like that, so I was beating myself up every time. And he talks about how he held the wand with
Like
a
a gun.
He didn't
Yeah,
want to seem
and he's like, I didn't really know what I was doing. And then he talks about Twilight, and he was like, I didn't really know what I was. It's just like every movie he talked about was like,
I just,
to be honest, no clue. And you're
Yeah.
like, what? You're just stumbling through success.
Yeah.
I
but
love
he's also constantly like ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Like Twilight came out and everyone was like Twilight, and he was like it's crap. And now like people are like, man, Twilight sucks, and he's like hating Twilight was so 10 years ago.
it.
Yeah.
It's back.
I'm ahead of that. I don't
Yeah.
hate it anymore. I'm indifferent. And I was
Yeah.
like, Robert,
Okay.
you were shit talking it so much.
We've gone through every stage of hating it to like ironically liking it
Yeah.
to like
Ironically.
Genuinely
unironically disliking it to then back all the way around to unironically liking it. I feel
Yeah.
like
It's a cycle.
I
yeah.
know.
It's a process.
He also said that like on his first week of Twilight, like his agent and his manager like visited him on set and basically had an intervention. And
Yeah.
they were. Did you see this?
I think so.
They,
yeah.
they were like, whatever you're doing right now, do the opposite because
You're about to get
yeah.
fired.
Yeah, it was like by the end of the day you will be fired.
Yeah, and then whatever he did, it worked because they kept him on. But like, wow.
Yeah. See, I think you
What
said
a
he was
story.
playing it like so emo and like,
Yeah.
emotional, and they were like, no, that's
No,
why
no,
like
no.
I think they were saying the scene where she meets the Cullens is like that day
Yeah.
that they were filming it, and that's why he's
Mhm.
like much more like a normal
Why?
person.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch that movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was our Robert Pattinson review.
Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson talk in the middle of movies of the week.
Robert
Hey,
Cast.
listen,
Moving on to our weekly Hulu talk. Coming the same day that Batman releases Fresh, which stars Daisy Edgar Jones and Sebastian Stan. Looks like a trippy ride through modern dating that may or may not be about a cannibal. Directed
We
by
don't know.
It looks like it. It does look an awful lot like it.
and the description of the movie on
Fresh.
IMDb is like she has to survive her like potential lover's insane appetite, and it's like
appetite.
okay.
Yeah.
And like
Is it about him though? Is
What
it
if
about
she's
Armie?
the cannibal?
Is it
Oh,
about
is it
Armie
about
Hammer?
Armie?
I think
hope
it's
not.
coincidental.
Oh,
Were they like, this would be kind of funny, or like?
I doubt it. Oh gosh.
Yeah, somebody's sucking on Timothy Chalamet's toes.
Fresh looks really good. I remember watching the trailer I watched the trailer before I read the description, and I was like, oh, he like drugs her. They're like going on an acid
Yeah, I remember we
trip.
watched the show and you were like, LSD. This looks like LSD.
Yeah, this looks like a trip, and then like I still feel like that might be somewhat of what's happening.
It could be LSD and
But
cannibalism.
yeah, the feeling when he says a line in the trailer that's like it's about giving yourself completely to somebody else, and I was like, okay, put in a cannibal element to this. It's like, all right, he wants to be with his partners completely. He wants them
Nom, nom,
like
nom, 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 nom,
fully with him.
nom, 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 nom.
That could be an interesting, fun one. I'm excited about it, and again, Hulu. I don't know what it is, but it's like weekly. I'm going good Hulu movie, good Hulu movie, good Hulu movie.
Mhm.
Very
They put
impressed.
something in the Kool-Aid.
In the Hulu.
In the
They
Kool-Aid.
they got scared when Amazon Prime and Netflix were like, look at all the new movies. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. They got scared. They got scared when they saw Amazon Prime and Netflix really making moves. So good on Hulu. They're stepping up their game.
Cool.
From psychological and trippy to psychological and grounded. We have Korean writer-director Kogonada and A24 bringing us After Yang. Story of a family that has to deal with the fallout of their AI helper family member.
Robot,
Yeah, it's
android.
Robot?
Robot adopted son.
Yeah.
Suddenly shutting down.
Getting Black Mirror vibes.
Definite Black Mirror
Yeah.
vibes.
But
But
like her almost.
yeah, Ex Machina.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other AI.
Other AI movies.
Sci-fi
Insert
I, Robot!
That feeling of like, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be
Yeah.
alive? And
Yeah.
is synthetic intelligence alive? What do we determine as
Westworld.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Westworld.
you know?
It looks really cool. I'm into this movie.
Yeah. But it also looks very like emotional. You
Yeah.
know, like it's an investigation. It's not like a big like action or like thriller like Ex Machina.
Yeah.
It's like an investigation on what it is to be human and stuff.
Slow and quiet.
Yeah.
Definitely looks like the kind of movie that was shot during COVID-19.
Yeah. Right. 4 stars.
That with like a couple guests that like
Yeah.
pop in and out.
Yeah.
One location. It looks great. I always love an A24 movie. I
Yeah.
still have to see Zola. Still
Yeah.
have to see
Let's check
Zola.
that out.
Yes.
I'm interested to, maybe it's out of pocket, but I'm interested to see, just because it's particularly interesting to me that they've cast like an Asian character to be
I
the
thought
that
literally
too.
objectified,
I thought
person.
that too.
and I'm interested to see how they play into it. Who's the director? Is it
Kogonada. He's a Korean writer-director. He did Columbus is the other film that he's
Gotcha.
well known for, which I haven't heard
Haven't
of,
heard of it
but
either.
this just looked
Yeah,
gorgeous. And
I'm excited to see if that's an element of it or if it's just sort of
Yeah.
like, not really
I
played
think
into.
I think the fact that the robot's name is Yang
Mhm.
is a part of that. Like, I would almost think like yin and yang,
Mm.
that idea of order and chaos, and like
Or like the
After
commodification
chaos
of
or
culture.
After order.
After
Which
order.
one is, yeah.
Because it's interesting that you'd have to like, I don't know. We'll see the movie. I don't want to get too far into the speculative themes of it before.
without taking a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me tonally of that movie 9 Days that I still have yet to see, with Winston Duke, which was it was like a bunch of strangers who get the opportunity to live, And it's like over the course of 9 days, you will like get all the memories of pain and suffering and torment and all of these things, but you'll also get joy. And if you're selected, if you make it through this process, you'll get to experience life. And like, what does it mean to be alive? And
Interesting.
what is life? I'll show you the trailer again when we finish the podcast.
Yeah.
Sort of sounds like The Lobster almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Another Colin Farrell A24 movie.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell making quite a few little cameos this week.
He's got 2 movies coming out the same
Oh yeah,
week.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you, Colin.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more indie movies this week that I'm excited to talk about. That you probably, I would say, definitely haven't heard of, because I hadn't heard of any of these 3. And then we have one more documentary, before we did Movie of the Week, so I'm excited. First up, we have a movie that I think Soren's going to like, because we were talking earlier today about long takes and the idea of like movies being done in that one-take style. We have Night Ride, directed by Stephen Fingleton and written by Ben Conway, starring Mo Dunford. A one-take story about a guy trying to move a bunch of drugs in one night. There's a Tom Hardy movie
Called Lock.
Yes, Locke, where he's driving around in a car.
Brilliant
with
movie.
that. Yeah.
One of my
I was
favorites.
also getting Drive vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really like one takes. I think one takes in cars are super interesting.
Yeah.
Locke is actually, I didn't mention it in the interview, but Locke is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I think just for the simplicity of like, it's literally you're just one dude in a car the whole movie, and it's so good.
I love stuff like that. I
But,
love
yeah.
ways that you can find, like, especially in the more modern age where we kind of have gotten to a point that it's like, you really can make a movie on any budget.
Mhm.
And so the idea of like, well, we got a really good actor, like, yeah, it's Tom Hardy, but like, before he was really like Tom Hardy as we know him,
Yeah.
the idea of we just hired someone who's really talented, we put a camera on them, and we said go.
But even the voice, the people, because he calls people on the phone, I
Yeah.
think even they're like, I'm pretty sure one of them's Olivia Colman.
And I think Andrew
And
Lincoln is in it
Andrew
too.
Scott,
Andrew
I think.
Scott,
Or, I
yeah.
mean, maybe there's another one of the persons, but I know Andrew
Andrew
Scott's one
Scott,
of them
yeah,
as well.
is who I meant.
But he's great. We haven't gotten to that part of the interview yet.
We'll get
Yeah.
there.
But Andrew Scott is...
What do you mean, Soren? We did the entire interview in one day. There was
Yeah.
no break in the interview
Sorry,
where
we'll
we...
cut this part out. This is...
Next up, from Palestinian director-writer Hani Abu Assad, comes Huda's Salon.
This looked intense.
This looks very intense, and I am not 100% sure what
Yeah.
it's about.
Right?
Oh, sorry. So this is the one that with the...
No.
No,
that's the
that's
next
okay, gotcha,
that's the
gotcha,
next
gotcha.
one. This is woman gets blackmailed into joining
Yes, okay.
the resistance.
Yeah.
This idea of like who is rebelling and who is bad, who is good, who's doing what for what reasons.
Yeah.
There's like coercion on all sides. But
Yeah.
it's like, what is...
And there's like infants involved too.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a theme behind the idea of like, I think the blackmail is that they poison
Trafficking?
this woman. I think they poison this woman and just take a photo of her naked. And that is the whole blackmail of like, we'll just release this photo and you'll die. That like, we live in the kind of place where this will get you killed.
Yeah.
Do what we want you to do, or we're gonna give your husband this photo and he's gonna kill you.
Yeah, I think it's like very clearly like some kind of sexually repressive society. And I think, well, the idea I think generally is that it's like the initial person was caught with another man.
Yeah.
And then they're either doing some sort of like entrapment of like seducing women and then taking pictures, or but in some way using adultery and that sort
It's
of
also
thing.
based on true events. That's what the trailer said. One of
Yes.
the quotes was in the trailer.
Which I think is really interesting, and especially from a director who's from Palestine, there is a lot that can be unpacked about the work that they're doing and what they're trying to say about specifically Middle Eastern experience to the Middle East. I think we've had a lot of Western American looks.
Yeah.
So it's
Too many.
It's good to have movies being made by people who are not white.
Yes.
Boom.
Our final narrative film for the week is a German film called Great Freedom, which
This was the one you
is
were
directed by Sebastian Meis, who wrote alongside Thomas Reiter. It's the story of post-World War II Germany, where a liberated man from a concentration camp is immediately thrown in prison for the crime of homosexuality, and the kind of decades that he deals with being in and out of prison, and the crime of being gay in a country where it's illegal to be gay.
This looked like another really interesting, really intense, beautifully shot movie.
Very
That props to that trailer company, bro.
super poignant with Don't Say Gay passing in Florida and the transphobic basically letter that the governor of Texas wrote. We live in a place where it is very possible that if things get pushed too far, this is not outside of the realm of possibility. This is not a like, oh, that was so far in the past. Like, we don't deal with that anymore. This is still a very real thing that we're dealing with even in our own country. So I think this film looks incredible. It looked beautifully shot, and really intense.
It's also, I think, just a part of that history that we don't really talk about. Sort of how oppressive regimes continued to abuse and really just like exploit minority groups.
Yeah. People are like, "Oh, they were done by this point," and it's like, no, actually.
Yeah. How there's like intersectionalities between how oppressive regimes can try to maintain control, and there's a continuity of oppression as opposed to just like liberation, and from that point,
they were free.
Happy. Yeah.
And then they were free, and the Holocaust was over. Yeah. One final film this week, in the documentary category, we have from director Amy Poehler, Lucy and Desi, which is the story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Being the Ricardos 2.
Being the Ricardos documentary edition.
Yeah.
With recordings that their daughter found.
Yeah.
Of just the two of them talking to each other about like life and what was going on at the time, and kind of a little early form podcasting from Lucy and Desi of recording
like
their
home,
lives.
Home audio.
Home audio, remembering like what is happening in the moment as you're experiencing it. And they're two icons. So
it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like a gorgeous film. They used the Lana Del Rey
Oh
song.
my god, they used Young and Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck you guys.
You're really trying to elicit those tears.
And you know what? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a tiny bit.
Yeah, that looks great. Super excited. I'm pretty sure that's coming to Prime.
Yep.
Yeah. So
just like
check
Being
that
the
out.
Ricardos was on Prime.
Yeah.
I'm loving this trend of like whenever there's like a true story thing, I think it's a very good idea to release at the same time a documentary.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Full context.
They did that with Pam and Tommy as well.
Yeah, and they've done. I know back when Extremely Vile, Terribly, whatever that one was.
Yeah,
there was the Bundy tapes as well.
Right.
Which is, I mean,
right.
True crime. There's like a lot of nuance to that. But just I like the idea of, look, this might not be the accurate thing. There's a narrative we're playing here. Here is just
something a bit more
the
nonfiction.
Yeah,
here's what happened.
Something with sources and.
It's reminding me of The Act, which was on Hulu, which was about the mother Gypsy, the mother-daughter duo. She was telling the daughter that
she has all these like diseases.
Oh, is it Munchausen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Munchausen
by proxy.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, there's also a documentary that came out actually before the Hulu series. But I'm glad that I got to experience both.
I don't know why that made me think of the fact that we had a fire documentary and now fire is a part of Inventing Anna. That just like popped in my head. Yeah.
It's part of Inventing Anna?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Part of the series is the fact that she got approached by she was friends with the guy who ran the original festival. And real life Anna was friends with him, and he approached her and was like, hey, I'm doing this thing, Fire Festival, you want to be on board? God. And she was like, no, this sounds awful, like it's gonna fail, so no.
Nice.
And she
get on
went
her.
to Fire Festival.
She's actually smart. Yeah,
it's almost like she could spot a scam. I wonder why.
Takes one to know one?
Interesting.
Those are the movies coming out this week. Check them out, whether you go to the cinemas and watch at AMC or watch at home on any of the streaming devices or services, not devices. Let us know what you're watching. We would love to hear that we're helping to support some cinema, some cinematics, some film.
was gonna say, I mean, I don't want to go back, but did we say where those indie films can be found? Because I know a lot of them are on like Hulu,
I'm
Amazon,
pretty
or are
sure-
for general release. Are those things available?
I think they're all getting limited releases, so they might be a little harder for people to find.
Gotcha.
If you have a local like Cineplex, you're
Yeah.
probably more likely to find it. And if you live in a place that has, if you're liking this movie and you live in a place that has a Cineplex, like a small movie theater, you might be able to get them to show it if you show interest in it. A lot of small theaters, especially in places where small theaters are like not particularly popular, like to create rapport with their audiences. So support local cinema. We talk about AMC because it's the closest thing to my house, but there are a ton of places in the city, places that I've gone to that have really nice theaters.
True
that are
that.
just like for. A lot of times when I want to see things that like friends are in, like when Frank Grillo is doing an indie movie, I'll be like, oh, I can find one of these places that's showing it in the city.
Yeah, you go to West Fourth. Or
or like 14th, the place on 23rd.
Lincoln Square,
yeah.
whatever, you know.
Do you guys remember
the place
when
in Lincoln Square is
Lincoln
gone
Plaza
now.
Cinemas,
Mhm.
yeah, I know that's gone, but there's still movie theaters around.
And there's the Netflix theater now over on East.
Well, that's not a
Yeah,
local or
well,
a small.
No, it's not a local or
It's
small,
owned
but
by Netflix.
It's a way to see Netflix movies in theaters.
True.
Which is not something that you get a lot of.
I'm gonna pay you so much more than a month subscription.
It's a way to pay
Please.
more money to go
Yeah.
see a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
You guys remember when MoviePass was first like?
I had
movie.
MoviePass.
I had MoviePass
Oh.
too. Yeah. What a time.
I remember
That was like back when
I
Black
remember
Panther was first coming
getting
out.
MoviePass and going, this isn't gonna last.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're like, how? This is not a
This is
sustainable
not
business
sustainable.
model.
And then
Yeah.
AMC went, we're gonna do it ourselves, and I went, sorry, MoviePass, you guys are dead.
And
Sign
so
me
it
up.
ends.
Yeah.
And it's over. But that's the only reason we
And
have.
You are out of time.
to
That-
MoviePass.
That's the only reason we even have A-list, though, is because MoviePass was like,
Mhm.
people want to see more movies.
Yeah.
And
And also, just like we need people in these
in the
seats.
theaters. Please buy our overpriced popcorn.
MoviePass walked so that A-list could run.
yeah, truly. And it's a way to get butts in seats, because there's a lot of movies that people might not go to. And if you can get them there, you can get them to buy concessions, which is where movies make most of their money.
To that.
That's the stuff that's coming out this week, but what about the stuff that we've been consuming? Jeremy?
Oh, me.
How about you start with the content we're consuming?
Okay. Content I'm consuming. Horizon Forbidden West just came out. PlayStation exclusive. Lovely. Having a great time. Being Aloy with her ray-traced hair. Exploring the wild post-apocalyptic West. Fighting robot animals and dinosaurs with my bow and arrow. It's a good time. And yesterday, for me, because we're recording this on a Saturday, Elden Ring came out,
Yes.
the latest release from Software, developer of Soulsborne games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Elden Ring, Elden Ring, Elden Ring. I am ready to die over and over and over
And over.
and over again.
And over.
In a great game. Beautiful open world.
Super fun.
Super free. Like, I haven't had this much freedom in an open world since Breath of the Wild. Yeah, damn good stuff. Other things I'm consuming. We talked about it earlier. We watched Coda. We watched Uncharted. Gosh, am I watching that? Oh yeah,
Girlfriend
Logan and I found a very cute YouTube channel called Girlfriend Reviews, in which a girlfriend doesn't review video games, but reviews what it's like to have a boyfriend who plays said video game.
I love that.
It's
Delightful.
so cute. It's so funny. It's so wholesome. Go check out Girlfriend Reviews.
They've only been going for like a year.
Yeah, they're
2 years.
2 years, 3 years, something like that. They're a pretty recent channel.
I don't think it's 3. It's
Two or
it's
yeah.
short. It's recent. It was definitely started during the pandemic.
Good wholesome stuff. Go check it out.
Great wholesome stuff. We love it.
Hey Soren.
Hey,
Hey Soren.
Is there anything new you're
Yeah.
watching?
What have you been
playing, video
watching
games?
this past week?
I know I put it on the little recommendations post, but it was too late, and the post had already gone up. But this week, I've been re-listening to Howard Zinn, who's a historian, If anybody's a Zinniac,
Yeah, he wrote the
People's History of the
People's
United
History,
States, referenced in Good
Great
Will
book.
Hunting.
and referenced in John
Great movie.
Leguizamo's last comedy special.
True. It's a good book.
It
If
is.
you're looking for a good history book.
It is a really good
But
book.
he has an album for a lecture series he did on Spotify called The Artist and War. And it's very good. It just talks a lot about, like, war. And, yeah.
And the art that comes out of war.
Yeah, and just about being, like, what's your place in this world? It talks a lot about, like, how... One of my favorite quotes of it is, like, there are no experts in big things. So there are no experts in morals. So no one can claim to say, like, you're not able to comment on this thing. We should leave that to, like, the experts. We should leave that to the politicians. Like, there's often that sort of, like, oh, you're just an actor. Like, you shouldn't, like, know your place kind of a thing. And he talks a lot
Shut
about...
up and dribble.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about, like there are no, like, where are the citizens, I think is a quote from, I think, Voltaire or Jean-Jacques Rousseau or something, where it's like, everyone gets so focused on playing their role that we all forget to be citizens and that we have to, like, exist in this world. I don't know. It's a very thought-provoking. Anything
Sounds
by
super
Howard
cool,
Zinn
yeah.
is brilliant. But that's mainly, I mean, my main thing. Always You're Wrong About is a great podcast. I know I recommend it all the time. But it's just a brilliant, brilliant show. Yeah.
Me? Yeah. Oh.
You are next on the couch.
Yeah, I finished season 1 of Jessica Jones, and I started...
Wow, you are watching these shows.
I loved it. I loved Jessica Jones. David
Tennant.
Tennant was a great villain, and the way that the story played out was very satisfying to watch. Now I'm up to Daredevil season 2 on my Marvel MCU TV show
Only got a
binge.
couple days left to watch.
Have you seen Luke Cage yet? Because
No, I haven't. That's next, I think, is season 1 of Luke Cage after season 2 of Daredevil.
I liked Luke Cage. I think it got kind of snubbed in the discourse.
Aw. Okay, well, I'll have to see for myself how I feel about that one. But I like Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
It's, entertaining. And what else am I watching? Still watching Servant on Apple TV
Great pick.
Plus. And... we saw Uncharted. It was really good. Okay.
Uncharted, Coda. I've talked about both of them. I would recommend both of them, especially Coda. I'm gonna stress that point a lot.
Yeah,
that
sure.
Coda is great, and that Coda needs to be seen. Just gonna say that.
I will check it out.
Just redeem your Apple TV Plus year-long trial and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else I've been consuming this week? Blackwolves Year 2 interviews.
Oh.
You should check those out.
Yes, you should.
For sure.
I too have been consuming Elden Ring. I was not gonna get it, and then I was over at Jeremy's house when they grabbed it.
Do it.
We started playing together, and I was like, "Oh no, this is really good."
Oh no, I can't wait until the next time I'm at Jeremy's to play this again.
No, but it was also like there's like 8 classes, and you can play your way, and I was like, "Oh,
Sold.
man."
Come
And
to
the world,
daddy.
and it's open world, and you have a magical horse.
And it's not as hard as Bloodborne, which you liked, but
But it's
was
still
way
very
too
hard.
But it's still really hard. I was like, this is bad.
New.
This is bad.
I want it.
I want it. So I've been playing that. Season 4 of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is here.
I have to watch.
You do.
Yeah.
I would like to say, because the episode dedicated to him premiered last night. Episode 3, as a warning to people, because I didn't have a warning about it watching the episode, and I kind of wish that I had. Episode 3 is dedicated to Brian Tarantina. He played Jackie. He passed away a couple months back, and so they dedicated episode 3 to kind of explaining what happened to Jackie and why he's not around anymore.
Oh.
So that was a tough episode to watch. But it's the
The
MC at the Gaslight.
Yeah.
Who is also Susie's roommate. So you can't. It's not
Well,
like
was in a room.
they lived
Yeah,
together
they
at the
did.
I
end of
thought she
season
lived.
3.
Oh, I didn't watch season 3. Sorry, I saw your scene.
Thanks. Great show, really great show. Love Maisel, they're incredible. It's a beautiful show. I would highly recommend watching. What else have I seen or played? I've been listening. We started on DropoutTV.
Oh yeah, we did.
There is a new Game Changers like mini arc. Game Changers is a game show that DropoutTV does. They're doing a
Very
mini
funny,
like
silly.
Survivor game with like the College Humor group. So it started at 7. They're down to 5 now.
Yeah.
So that was part 1. Part 1's like 24 minutes. It's really funny.
It is.
We had a lot of Jeremy and I watched that. I'm also watching Dimension 20's Starstruck Odyssey, which I think is delightful. The Legends of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime is amazing. I showed you the 2nd episode the other day.
And I had a good time again.
Yeah, we're still catching up on Euphoria. We're still watching White Lotus.
We are.
I've been trying to consume as many movies as I could as fast as I could because the SAG Awards voting closed yesterday. So I will now have more time to watch
Anything else.
More
Literally.
stuff that's not like really dramatic Oscar movies.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah. I finished the Beatles Get Back. I finished the Beatles Get Back, the 7-hour documentary.
Wow.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
It's a mini
3 parts.
Okay, it's not. They don't do it. It's just they're just like deal with
one.
it.
Go!
You decide when you stop. We will give you no resolution.
But no, it's the story of the like 25 days that they took to write Get Back.
Well, the Let It Be
Let It
album.
Be album. Yeah. For the Get Back concert.
Yeah.
The Get Back rooftop experience.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's great. I loved it. People who say it's slow, I heavily disagree with because I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff.
Raw.
But being someone who like always
Very quick 7.5 hours.
yeah, hey, listen,
For real though.
it's there's not a part that I'm like you could get rid of this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like them like just kind of fucking around playing instruments where me as an audience member thinking this is slow and unnecessary is then feeling like I'm in the room with them going, we have 2 weeks to finish this album. Why are we playing Johnny Be Good right now? And just like, why are we just like, why is George meditate? What is going on, guys? We need to write the album. Great documentary. Loved it. Peter Jackson did an amazing job.
Can we just say Yoko Ono did nothing really wrong? Can we just
I think the documentary does a really good job of showing, like, it shows that she's around pretty much nonstop.
And she wasn't problematic.
She gets involved sometimes in annoying ways, but
it's John was the one who brought her along. It was clearly John was not interested in the Beatles anymore.
Yeah, and
it's
John
not her.
John is also like
He's
on
kind of
drugs at the time.
Well, yeah, they were both addicted to heroin.
Yeah, and it's pretty. You can tell in moments where John just like completely goes off on a weird side tangent about like
it just doesn't talk the whole day,
or doesn't talk the whole day, or like will just repeat the same phrase over and over. He'll get something stuck in his head and he'll just like keep saying it, and Paul will have to be like, John. Like,
really? Is this part 3?
Back.
I gotta get into this.
You know, apparently, this is also You're Wrong About has an episode on Yoko Ono breaks up the Beatles. Very good episode. I'm sure they cover similar ground. I haven't seen that documentary, but apparently their dealer for heroin was so bad he would cut it with baby powder like so extensively that one time they were like, "Hey, dude, this smells like baby powder," and he's like, "No, that's how it's supposed to smell." That's why they were like not. They were like slightly less high than they would have been, and slightly like
they
less
don't
dead.
They don't actually touch on it at all.
Got you.
They don't talk about the drug use in any even in part 3.
They don't talk about it.
No. But Yoko, it's what I like about it so much is that there's no confessional. There's no like
there's no interviews.
And like it's no like older Paul being like, and in this moment I felt you're just watching them live. And like it's not like Paul's girlfriend isn't there every day. It's not like Ringo's wife doesn't stop by every other day. It's like everyone was so focused on Yoko because she's in the pictures, but that's because Paul's girlfriend is taking the pictures.
It's also there was an interesting they had a band meeting at one point where they were like, we're gonna just meet and talk about where we need to go, because we're sensing a lot of tension, and that was one of the big things, was that John invited Yoko to that.
Yeah.
And they were like,
And
this is not...
But that's the thing. In the doc, that meeting, John invites Yoko, Paul invites his girlfriend, and Ringo's wife is there because they're at Ringo's house, but no one calls George's wife. So it's George, who's the one that's really like, I'm done with the Beatles, I don't want to do this anymore, against his 3 bandmates and their partners. And so it becomes this, like, why? It's literally like, these people show up to the meeting. Next title card. The meeting does not go well. And then it's just the next day. And they're like, so is George coming today? We're going to talk to him later. And see.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he doesn't show up.
Yeah, fair.
And then Ringo is like, I'm gonna, like, Paul and John are kind of like, oh, we'll get Eric Clapton to do it. And Ringo's like, I'm gonna go talk to George.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
Hey Jude was written for... Paul wrote it for John's son. Yeah,
Julian.
Jules.
Yeah.
Hey, Julian. Thanks for watching the Packcast.
The one other thing that I want to say just before we move on from the Beatles and close the Packcast, it's interesting to think that they're like 2 years older than we are. That, like,
in the documentary.
In the doc, they are 2 years older than us.
1 plus dog equals banana again. In my mind, they're 2 years older. Yeah.
And they were in the most success. Like, I can't imagine the 4 of us like, hey guys, we're in the most successful band in the world right now. What's our next album? At 25. What's our next masterpiece that will expand the stems
Beatles
of time?
cinematic universe.
Yeah. Crazy. Great doc. Check it out. That's what I'm consuming.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the Packcast. Big thanks to Anchor yet again for sponsoring this and all episodes. Yes, Logan.
We have one comment shout out.
Oh boy.
I normally like to do it after the sponsors. This comment actually comes on our Ryan Quigley interview video. It comes from user Soren Correia.
Oh, look at that. We got you right where we want you, Soren.
Who pointed out that there's a moment in the interview, I believe it's 4 minutes and 35 seconds, that Ryan and his past self both brush their hair at the exact same time. It is peak comedy. You should go check it out. That's my little shout out to someone who commented on our piece. You should comment on our stuff.
If you comment, you could be the next guest on the podcast.
Hey!
You might.
You might, who knows?
You never know.
You could be sitting right here.
Yeah.
This could be you. It's like that auction thing that celebrities do.
Just put a giant question mark over my face.
This has been the Packcast.
This has been the
Follow
Packcast.
us, like us. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Do all those things. Please. And, that's what I thought was going to happen.
Well, that camera is gone, but we still have one.
Get in here. Even further.
Come on. We'll finish the Packcast on the couch.
Yeah.
I've got just one word for you.
Side the fuck Nara.
I'm Logan Riley Bruner.
I'm Jacob Wade.
I'm Soren Alf Correia.
And I'm Jeremy. And sigh the fuck Nara.
Side the fuck Nara.